takeoff runway 25 left RM 666-1123.
Hello and welcome to the channel. We are going to be doing something a little bit different from what we did on the previous video, which was a farming sim video. We're going to be doing a Microsoft Flight Simulator flight from Hong Kong to Beijing. I am alongside Flight Simulator playing OnAir Company, and we're going to do a cargo flight in a 787 from Hong Kong to Beijing. So before we kick off with the flight, please, if you like the video content on the channel, please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon, and if you like the video today, please hit the like button. So let's get into the flight. So I kind of like to fly my Flight Simulator flights in a certain way. We are running on a ultra wide screen, so we've got a very big aspect ratio, so that's why we've got this sort of video setup we have. Now basically I'm running a couple of things here. I'm running OnAir Company. You'll see my flight in OnAir Company. There you'll also see I have FS flight control, which is giving me some flight data on this flight as well. We will be flying most of the distance with autopilot once we get airborne, and we will be basically kind of flying everything from there. So let's get ourselves tracking and then we'll get the engines started. We're on the runway and we'll be doing a takeoff. We are taking off from runway 25. I'm getting that tracking started, so we are active. Throttles up and brakes off, and we're rolling. Please note, this is how I fly. Yeah, any comments, critiques, they're welcome, but this is just how I roll when I'm flying. And we are rolling down the runway. We have trim of 26, flaps are at 15%. Kind of roll as long as we can, get that speed up. Trying to get to about 180, start to lift, work gears up, fly straight. I get some altitude here, kind of keeping an eye. I'm going to make a turn around about 2,000 feet radio altitude, slightly reducing flaps as we go. Maintain that speed, that nose angle, want to keep it up on the climb. It's 1,500 feet coming up. Don't want to be falling too much. I'm gonna start my turn and start gaining some speed, getting to about 280 knots. And I'm going to start climb up to 35,000 feet once we've got speed, making the turn. Now I will run accelerated time on this flight, just so you don't have to sit through the entire flight at full speed. We'll be flying over mainland China as we are banking out and flying over Hong Kong Bay. We will be sort of crossing into essentially Chinese airspace over the mainland shortly. We only have just over 1,000 nautical miles on this flight. I'm going to start ramping up the time now to try and get that climb. They're pretty stable. I'm happy with the flaps now. Happy with the trim. Let's just get that climb up. And we're climbing. We've got AI planes on the actual FS Flight Control map. You'll be able to see those down below. I've got the satellite view on. We've got ILS approaches and so on. We will be running into, I think it was runway 36 right when we arrive in Beijing. As you can see, we're now passing over a couple of other local airports. We are climbing nicely. We're at 8,000 feet and climbing quite presently. We're maintaining around 280 knots. We're at 66 engine power. We took off with quite a low amount of fuel because I am full of cargo. We are carrying, 247,000 pounds of cargo for this trip with OnAir Company. This aircraft is a modified version of the 787-10 Dreamliner. It's a stripped aircraft, so it can't carry any passengers, but it's maxed out for cargo, which gives us a slightly extra weight we can carry, which basically means we are full to the brim. We've got about 1,900 nautical miles of fuel on board, so in theory we should make this without any problems. So we're climbing up to cruising altitude and trying to get to about 35,000 feet so we can max out how much fuel we use. I haven't done this long trip, this short trip with this much cargo since actually for a while now. The last time I did this sort of trip with this level of cargo, this was actually before a recent patch where the parameters of the 787 were changed. Previously the 787 was very, very fuel efficient. That fuel efficiency has been kind of reduced a little bit, so we will be running a little bit on the edge, I think. We are breaking the we'll be breaking the 1,000 nautical miles mark soon. We are doing quite nicely. Engine power is up. Don't really want to use too much engine power, but we're climbing. We're up to 26,000 feet. We are doing quite nicely. About 100 nautical miles from our destination, we'll start to descend, and we will start to make the approach turn into the airfield at about 50 nautical miles. and then we'll sort of come into to land. Ideally, we'll be coming in straight. We don't do any of this thing, and hopefully, I've not landed at Beijing before, so hopefully I don't screw up any parking. That is my Achilles heel. Is basically completely screwing up the ability to get onto the parking stand. So with that, when we will shortly be at 35,000 feet, so we'll be cruising, and I'm going to then leave us to it until we get to a little bit closer to our destination, and I'm just going to sit, and we'll probably fast forward this stage of the flight. We'll see how long it is. We're 8 minutes into the flight now, and we'll see what we're at when we get closer. So let me... see how we're doing close to the time. So just a quick note, I think my calculations just calculated, I think my ETA is going to be about a 30-minute flight. So that's kind of what we're looking at on this. So from this point onwards, we've got about 30 minutes of flight time. Okay, we're a little over halfway through the flight, and we're progressing nicely. We're looking at about 15 minutes until we get there, but yeah, we're going pretty nicely at this point. Fuel is looking fairly reasonable, although pretty tight. 7% left. We're in the red. We should be okay though. Once we start descent, we start to use very little fuel. But we shall see if this goes okay. You will see the fruits of the labour, as it were. We're progressing nicely, so we're holding steady at 35,000 feet at 280 knots. And then our TAS is 464 knots, so our true airspeed. So that's pretty decent. We're flying over mainland China, as you can see below us. We are, I really can't pronounce any of these places, but we're sort of coming up on Fuyang, and yeah, we are travelling quite nicely. The flight so far is 25 minutes, and we are 400 nautical miles away from our destination. Okay, we are fast coming up on 150 nautical miles. We're just passing 170 nautical miles from destination. So we'll be starting our descent very soon. We will be running probably about 10 minutes, I think, before we've fully landed. We are, I think, yeah, we're about 10 minutes possibly away. We're over, where have we just passed over? We've passed, oh, why did I choose a Chinese flight? Heng Shui. I apologise to any Chinese watchers. I apologise profusely for completely butchering your place names. So Heng Shui and Changzhou is coming up. We are passing, we'll be passing Tianjin very soon. I can just see on the map We're about, what is that? I think that's 20 nautical miles away. Tianjin on our right. We won't, of course, be landing at Tianjin, which is one of China's manufactured cities, from what I understand. We are 125 nautical miles away, and we're about to be taking our descent down into Beijing. Current flight level is 35,000 feet. Our current airspeed is 280 knots. Our true airspeed is 464 knots. We are doing quite nicely. We are, I don't think we're, yeah, we're starting, I'm going to start descent now. Don't really need much engine power for this. The descent is fairly straightforward. Nose down. Not going down too steeply, keeping it nice and gentle. Plenty of distance to go. We are losing a little bit of speed, but that's fine. Kind of want to have an airspeed when we get to a kind of target altitude, which I'm kind of aiming for about 17,000 feet, of about 220 knots. We probably won't make that altitude at this descent rate, but that's fine. Kind of want to get there by about the 50 nautical mile mark, but it's fine if we don't. We should be clear on everything. Still descending quite nicely. We're 84 nautical miles away. So our ETA has kind of gone up now. We did have time acceleration on until we got to 100 nautical miles, and I killed that. Basically, that just meant that we weren't flying for hours. We will basically fly the last 100 nautical miles real time. It's a bit safer that way. When you're doing those sort of cruise, you can get away with the time acceleration. So this has bumped up our arrival time to by another 6 minutes. So we are at 11 minutes from our destination. As you can see from the OnAir Company map, we are not far. We are definitely not far from Beijing. As I said, we'll be landing on runway 36R. Beijing has 3 runways, well, technically 6, but essentially 3 strips of tarmac for us to land on, with all of the runways going essentially north, I think it's north, are the 360s. I can never remember which way around this goes. We should see very soon on the FS flight control map the runway info for Beijing. We're at 68 nautical miles. We are not far off. We'll start making what little turn we'll need to do to be able to get on approach very soon. So we are not very far. We're reducing our speed slightly. We're just coming up to 26,500 feet. Our airspeed is 256 knots and holding just. We've got our trim at 43%, which is, so we've got nose down, keeps us from running away with it and going too fast and too fast downwards. Coming up for 55 nautical miles. At 50 nautical miles we'll start the very slight turn that we'll need, and then we're kind of preparing for final. And it should be fairly straightforward from this point on. I don't expect any landing hassles other than the parking hassle that I'll probably have because I can't park a plane to save my life. There may be some like rallying with the 787 on grass verges. I'll just warn you now, on some airfields there's a lot of rallying that goes on. It's more like playing dirt than it is playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. We did have on the flight, I did notice a sort of little connection error with the kind of back end from Microsoft Flight Simulator. This might have interrupted AI flight the AI planes that we see. So I haven't seen many since we took off, so that's kind of the reason why I bring that up. Speed is increasing because we've decreased our descent rate now. So we're going to Beijing capital, is the airport. ZBAA is our destination airport. From what I can tell, Beijing has multiple local airfields. But yeah, we are going to ZBAA. So we've it's very slight. We actually are pretty much bang on track for our turn. I'm just looking at my personal flight control flight plan map, and we are smack bang on. We could have done an ILS approach actually, but we're kind of just going to go straight. I'm going to turn and then turn in. Hopefully we are not too fast because our speed is going way up now. We're at 300 knots on this descent, and our vertical speed is close to 4,000 feet per minute, because we need to get down now to kind of like 5,000–6,000 feet very quickly. Usually cool doing it this way. Fairly used to it. A gentle descent. I don't like losing it on the way on the last bit. We haven't really used any engine power recently, so that basically means we haven't used a lot of fuel. So we still have just under 1,500 gallons of fuel left. We are crossing 10,000 feet very soon. Our flight time so far has been 46 minutes. And we are 25 nautical miles away from destination. I will be requesting clearance to land very soon. I'll do it when I start to make my turns. Got a marker that I'm basically following, which is coming up in about 5 knots. Oh, probably about, yeah. We're a couple of nautical miles off now. You can see city of Beijing below us. Oh, we are way over 400 knots now. But with zero power, we're coming up to 5,000 feet. When we make this turn, we'll slow down quite a bit, so that's fine. The wings may bend a little bit. I prefer landing with this sort of view rather than cockpit. As you can see, some of the skyscrapers of Beijing over there. I prefer doing it this way. I can better aim for the runway this way. Okay, so I'm just going to call out for my air landing clearance.
666.123 is 15 miles south with uniform to land.
RM 666.123 Beijing Tower.
Never been denied landing clearance yet in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I have been shouted at several times for landing on the wrong runway though. This time we should be good. Although there were 3 runways very close to each other, so I messed this up. So we've got our pattern entry now. We will be on final very soon. Gear down in a second. See, all that speed we have, we've lost it all now. We're at an altitude of 27,000 feet. Sorry, 2,700 feet, 2,800 feet. Way too high. Up a bit, making a turn. Gear is coming down. Flaps are moving. I'm going to turn into this. It's a slow turn. Just hoping there are no very tall buildings very close to the runway. As you can see, we have 3 runways coming up on the ILS data. You'll see on MS Flight Control. We're in the middle runway. We are a little low for the pattern. That's fine. I'm usually okay with that. My style is a little unorthodox, to say the least. Trying to get back straight now. Can't guarantee because I think I overshot the turn a bit. I think we've got enough time and space to straighten up a tad. As we kind of thing, so we should be okay. Trying not to overcorrect, just gentle bits with the rudder. Oh, we've got some AI traffic there. Gentle adjustments with the rudder. Wow. There's a lot of AI, well, there's a ton of AI traffic which is all parked on the field, but we have something.
Clear to land runway 36 right RM.
I think we're going to be a little off center. As long as we hit the ground and not crash, I'm happy. We are coming up for 1,000 feet. I feel we're too high, but we should be okay. .4% of fuel. We have no fuel for an emergency thing. This is our one and done. Kind of get to the last mark. What I generally do is I do hit the speed brake and wow, this is going to be really close to the ground. Just feels awfully low. Who puts trees at the end of the runway? Felt low though. Ooh, bouncy. That was that was a rough landing. Okay. Really do not know where we're actually gonna park. No. And I've got exit the runway when able. Oh, I see the markings. I see the markings. So welcome to Beijing. I do not know where we're parking. Apparently,
RM666-112 tree, turn next taxiway.
we have a really tight right-hand turn to do here. This is where I usually get very unstuck when I am playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. Is the taxi from the runway to the parking space, because this bit is the bit that I hate. Either too fast and I overshoot, too slow and I stop dead. Trust this place to have the most convoluted parking arrangement. But I say, welcome to Beijing. Please, well, it's all cargo, so no one's getting up and standing and moving around the cabin because it's all heavy cargo. We shall be essentially on the stand very soon. The total flight time is about 56 minutes. Well, probably about 55-ish. I'm not sure where it's having us park. Can't really see that far ahead. I might cut this corner. Right. I'm not strictly following the arrows. I am just trying to get to my parking spot without hitting an airport terminal. Really don't know where it's going us to park. I think it's down at that terminal building, right down at the end actually. So this was one of several flights I do with OnAir Company. As I play this on the Cumulus world. I don't have time to play on the more hardcore worlds. I like to use the AI pilots to do a lot of work, and then I do this while it's actually quite often will. I just find it very strange that in this game, airport equipment will quite often just stray into the path of oncoming planes like that. So this is probably one of the best taxis I've done in a while. What's really surprising for me at the moment is it's a long taxi, very long. Very long. I just wonder actually. I know it'd be to Beijing Capital Airport. So it does puzzle me actually. I think we're going to a gate way down there, as you can see, that 0.3 nautical miles away. At least I think we are. Need to slow down a little bit. Probably not going to take the arrows as instructed. I'm going to probably cut this corner a tad. because that's just way too... Yeah, I'm not following the taxi lines. But this is actually pretty... Okay, I think we're parked in roughly the right spot. Let's see if we can get ourselves a jetway connection. I don't know why. So hold on. Connect the jetway to the aircraft.
Could you please connect the
And hopefully we shall have a jetway connection shortly. And we have the jetway. So let's get ready to power the engines down. See the jetways coming in. Our little guys there waiting for us. We are good. Jetway is connected. For some reason I can never get a battery supply. So we have increased our reputation. We have landed. The cargo has been successfully delivered. And with that, I am going to hit the battery. And the flight is over. We have landed. We took off from Hong Kong International Airport and we landed at Beijing Central. The flight was 52 minutes long. Thank you all for watching. I might do a few of these every now and then on the channel. I tend to pick the shorter flights if I'm going to make a video or a live stream. But thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to this, my new gaming only channel. If you want to see my airsoft content, hit the featured channels on this page and you can join that channel too. So with that, thanks for watching and I will see you guys next time.